Have you ever seen a movie and don't lie? Well, if you have in the last few years, you probably realized that Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really work, or that well. The other day I was watching a movie. It was 2020's Unpregnant. I hadn't heard of it, threw it on, and I liked it. It didn't blow me away, but it was enjoyable. In my mind, I was thinking 60 to 70% Rotten Tomatoes score. I looked it up and wowzers. 92% critic score and 15% audience score. Both wrong, but a difference of 77 points. The difference alone would be a pretty decent movie. Now, because I'm a veteran of the internet culture wars, I have a suspicion that this movie about a girl who has to travel state lines to safely and legally get an abortion without her parents knowing might be the victim of a review bomb. Of course, I am right. When I dig into the reviews, there are certainly a good amount of pro-lifers hitting it with half 1-star ratings, but not as many as I had expected. There are still a good number of what seems to be real reviews. Some 3 stars, some 4 stars, and some 5 stars. So I'm thinking, how could these real reviews be so weighed down by just a couple of half and 1 stars? Because Rotten Tomatoes rating system is broken. There's plenty of videos explaining how the Rotten Tomatoes rating system works, so I'll make this part quick. But here's how Rotten Tomatoes rates whether something is rotten, fresh, or certified fresh. So they use a rating system called a tomatometer. Maybe it's tomato meter, but I don't think so. When at least 60% of the reviews for a movie or a TV show are positive, a red tomato is displayed to indicate its fresh status. When less than 60% of reviews for a movie or TV show are positive, a green splat is displayed to indicate a rotten status. And then a movie gets a certified fresh little kind of sticker pin when it meets the following requirements: a consistent tomatometer score of 75% or higher, at least 5 reviews from distinguished top critics, and a minimum of 80 reviews for a film in wide release, 40 reviews for a film in limited release. But here's where the problem really shines. Say, for example, that Rotten Tomatoes looks at 10 reviewers who have each written a review for, I don't know, Avengers 36, Dawn of the Age of Dark, X-Men, Alpha, Spider-Force. Now, each of those reviews could have a different rating system. Some review the movies with a letter grade, say A, B, C, D, or heaven forbid an F, but others rate the movie out of 5 stars, and others still rate the review on a 100-point scale. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes has shit to do, so it's not about to do the math and convert each of those reviews into the same rating scale. So they basically look at each reviewer and go, enough with the words, is it good or bad? Obviously, a reviewer who gave it 99 out of 100 doesn't have the same opinion of the movie as a reviewer who gave it a C, or another reviewer who gave it a 3.5. But the system is basically asking, did you like it or did you not? Is that the left frame, the left side of frame? This is the left side of frame. No, this is the left side of frame. Did you like it or did you not? So say it's kind of a whatever movie and 9 of the 10 reviewers give it their version of 70% and the last reviewer said it sucked shit. Rotten Tomatoes only sees 9 out of 10 positive reviews, and the movie would get a 90% critic score. Obviously, that kind of haphazard method of reviewing leads to stuff like Super Mario Brothers getting a 59% critic score and a 95% audience score. That's a 36-point difference. But looking at those critics' reviews shows you just how borked the system is. Look at this. One reviewer gave the movie a 2.5 out of 4, which counted as a negative review, while another reviewer gave the movie a 3 out of 5, which counted as a positive review. Look, I'm no math whiz and I don't claim to be, but 2.5 out of 4 is a 62.5% rating, and a 3 out of 5 is a 60% rating. Both extremely low, but the 62.5% rating goes in the bad column and the 60% goes in the good. So let's go back to Unpregnant. For the audience score, they use a slightly modified version of the same system. When at least 60% of users give a movie or TV show a star rating of 3.5 or higher, a full popcorn bucket is displayed to indicate its fresh status. When less than 60% of users give a movie or TV show a star rating of 3.5% or higher, a tipped over popcorn bucket is displayed to indicate its rotten status. So that 15% doesn't suggest that the average audience rating of this was 15% out of 100. If I understand correctly, and sometimes that's tough, it's saying that 15% of the reviews were higher than 3.5 stars. As I said earlier, I think this movie is like a 60 to 70%. I enjoyed it, and my review would still go in the thumbs down column. I might as well be lumped in with the pro-lifers who didn't see the movie and gave it half a star. I mean, do you know how bad a 15% is? Like, for a movie to get a 15%, like, the lights have to be off. in some of the scenes, or the camera isn't focused. I mean, that's really not fair for a movie, even if it is just kind of okay. But of course, as is the case with most things these days, Rotten Tomatoes exists to purely give our short attention span, TikTok-addled brains a caveman level good or bad, and tosses out all the nuance. Yes, we know this. I've seen a lot of conversations about how bad this system is, but I rarely see people talk about my biggest problem with all of this. I used to pick movies based on box art or an actor I loved, or simply because the concept sounded cool. And in doing that, I've seen some of my favorite movies. Even for movies that aren't perfect, there's quite a lot to gain value. A cool concept, a really well done sequence, some incredibly poignant dialogue. Again, Unpregnant is not a great movie, but there is a sequence that I want to talk about, and I'm sorry in advance for spoilers. There's this really beautiful sequence in which the main character finally makes it to the clinic, and a nurse walks her through every step of the process. She's speaking to the main character as much as the filmmakers are saying, hey, if you're in this and you're terrified about what this might be like, here's how it goes. Picking a movie simply because it's rated better than another means you'll be watching a lot of great movies, sure, but you could also really miss out on something that might speak directly to you, or a point of view that you might really need to hear. So what's the solution? Unfortunately, gamers, I hate to tell you this, there's no real shortcut. If you want to know about a film or a movie, you kind of have to do it old school and find a few critics whose takes on movies more often than not agree with yours, and just wait to hear their thoughts. But I would also encourage you to waste a little time and start a movie that looks interesting. Worst case scenario, you'll spend like 20 to 30 minutes giving something a chance. And best case scenario, you find something you might really like. Hi, I'm Matt. We were just talking, or I was talking to you. I deleted my Twitter in 2021, and now my wife says that I need a place to put my thoughts. So maybe here is that. I won't be talking about movies all the time, though. It'll be other things. So if you liked it, subscribe.